Good evening and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. I am here with Kevin and Mr. Katie AVFC to review the 0-0 draw at Elland Road against Leeds. That probably brought up a few more questions again about Villa. You can either look at it as slightly glass half full, or you can look at it again as a glass half empty. So myself and Kev probably come at it from slightly different viewpoints. Me being at the game yesterday and maybe seeing it slightly differently than you did, Kev. But first of all, how are you doing? I know you've rushed to get here, so are you all refreshed? Are you ready to go?
I'm all showered, mate, after my 1 hour football run out. Got to keep those pounds at bay as I get older, because the way it's going, Villa might need me. So you better start getting your minutes in your legs as well, mate.
No, I don't know if my legs can handle it. First of all, got some explaining to do. So if anybody has watched Max's video on Villa on tour, I think I feature quite heavily in that, seeing as I was standing pretty near him. And yeah, just want to slightly apologise for my actions. The Leeds fans, they're right close to us, and it's good banter between the two. So it by no means reflects my professional outlook, of course, Kevin, and you should know that right now.
I absolutely do. It's always funny, I think, when you see someone bumped into you and they're like, "I've seen you down in Villa before." Someone once said to me, like, I was, even after like 6 months after Stuart Gowning had left, I was still shouting "F off" down in like 6 months after he'd actually left the club, and he's like, "Oh yeah, was that me? Sorry." So you've got a record for it, mate. Particularly with some of the chants you've started. So
yeah. It's I always seem to feature in quite a few Max's videos or Villa vlogger. I've been on his a few times. I don't know. I seem to attract it a little bit. So yeah, we're getting comments in straight away. So we'll go through all those as we go, and keep your comments coming in with what your thoughts were on yesterday's game, what you think thoughts are on Gerrard as a whole. Are we seeing a little bit of progress, or is it just same old, and it's not going to change? And yeah, please give the video a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. It's fantastic that you're watching, and great for the support. So, Kev, let's get into it. First of all, starting lineups for Villa, and obviously we knew about the injury situation. Was there any real surprises there for you? I think you called it. I think, actually, to be fair. Oh no, you said you would have gone with McGinn out of the side, wouldn't you? But obviously that wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
If I was to pick what I thought the team would have been, this would have been the team I would have thought he would have picked. But I obviously swapped out McGinn for Dendoncker. I did feel like there was a bit of talk around the left back area, and would he potentially put Young at left back and put Cons at right back? But I thought, if you're going to pay decent money for a international right back with a number of caps who's played for Sevilla, then it would be crazy not to bring them in when your first choice left back is injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I expected, to be fair, the team.
Yeah, and sort of, to be fair, start of the game, I think you said it yourself. Elland Road is a tough place to go for any team, and the atmosphere is up there with the best in terms of home atmospheres, and it is a tough, intimidating place to go. So, and I think the first 10 minutes showed that we were slightly on the back foot. I don't know what that was kind of like watching it on the TV, but Leeds seemed to come out of the blocks quite quickly.
Yeah, I think with any team, any away game in the Premier League, particularly as the winter sets in and those later kickoffs that are a bit darker, you get the atmosphere. It's under the lights, and I don't care who you are. You could be playing against the bottom of the league team, as we only know too well, and you can have a tough game. And it's a case in any league around the world. The key thing is to dampen the mood. Put an absolute shift in, keep the crowd quiet. The crowd starts to turn, which happened a little bit in terms of, but not turn on Leeds, but turn on the officials and start to feel like everything's against them. Even though I thought the officials actually quite a good game, and I know I've got slightly biased you on that, but I did think it seemed pretty reasonable, and so did the commentators, didn't they? But the atmosphere was to be expected. I've been to Leeds a couple of times to watch Villa, watch a couple of games, and they're a great club, great history, great fan base. So you'd expect a big game, particularly with the recent rival we've had since since the Championship season.
Of course, yeah, it was. I mean, as I say, my picture there shows it, and it was a good atmosphere. It was, fiery, and they seem to take a liking to trying to put off Tyrone Mings, which is quite entertaining. Yeah, it was. I think that was from the last game, and then taking that into this game. But he seems to respond to it pretty well, and watching it, we don't have the greatest of views from the away end, but certainly as that half ticked over, I think Rodrigo had a shot that went wide where we should have done a bit better to close him down. But after that moment, I thought and the key against Leeds is to kind of match them for their pressing and try and win that midfield battle. And for me, I thought we started to get on top in midfield. I think Luis started to win second balls. McGinn was winning second balls. Ramsey was quiet first 10 minutes, but then started to grow into the game a little bit more. And, I thought we finished that half pretty strongly.
Yeah, I felt 11 against 11. I felt we were, once that first bit had died down, I felt we were a better team. I know Gerard said that in his comments after, but I did. I thought we were absolutely matching them. And I did feel like it was, I just thought we looked like we had better quality in the team. No surprise, but I think this is the case sometimes in a lot of the games that we play. From goalkeeper now up to midfield. I think midfield's always been a bit of a weakness for us in recent years, but despite the clamour we've had for big number 8 signing, and when I say big, I mean as in like big name, I feel like our midfield's been all right lately. Other than McGinn aside, I still think it's a bit off it. I still think that Ramsey's running is good, and look, final ball still not good enough. Although I still think he's creating more chances than anyone else this season. And I think Luis is solid. I don't think Luis had his best game actually, but I still think he's a decent. He's industrious. He gets about. The issue, as I'm sure we'll come on to it, is further ahead of that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, you're being surprisingly positive here.
I'm only 8 minutes in, mate. Yeah,
but no,
piece by piece, I'm going piece by piece. I want to build up to a crescendo.
That's fine. So okay, so let me just keep on it with this. So yeah, obviously first half ended, and I think obviously the main then talking point of the second half was the stupid sending off of Sinistera. And to be honest, I was actually just going back to my seat, and all of a sudden everyone around me is going cheerio, cheerio, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And see that he's being sent off for stupidly trying to stop a free kick from being taken, and that's where you kind of think, right, we've played the first half, we've grown into the game, we've won the midfield battle, so to speak. We've had one or two chances. I think Bailey should have done better with one. Watkins should have done better with one. And then you think, right, go after the game. Let's really go at it. And that's when you've got to take those opportunities, haven't you? And we'll get into it a little bit more. But say 40 minutes against 10 men, you've got to take the game, haven't you?
You've got to. I'm going now. You've set me off. You've lit the touch paper. This is the issue with Aston Villa in recent years, and this is the reason why a lot of Villa fans, me absolutely included, think we need to change a manager, because we're not affiliated to a local paper, shall we say? So we don't need to be probably too careful. Well, maybe as careful as they need to be, maybe. We're not obviously interviewing. I'm sure if we were at the grounds in the future, doing interviews, we might be a little bit less candid. But I've got to call a spade, and the reality for me is that we have got. How many times have we gone down against either 10 men? Sorry, as in we've been playing against 10 men, or playing a team that are not as good as us, and we have all the possession, and we cannot break them down. Happens time after time after time. I remember there's one couple of seasons back, West Ham, Villa Park. They went a man down. Not that late in the game, and you just knew enough it was going to happen. Look at the games against Bournemouth. I mean, Southampton finally got a goal, but we're struggling consistent break teams down. And I think we were almost more potent from an attacking perspective. Dare I say it, when we had Trezeguet, Traore, and Watkins. I'm not going to say Trezeguet, Traore, and Samatta, but
please don't.
No, I won't do that.
Again.
No, I know. But you know what I mean? Like, at least at least he come into the back post and stick a few away.
Yeah.
Was
it a case of we didn't create enough chances, or I mean, obviously we're going to go on like this guy here. I think that picture kind of sums up his game where he's kind of struggled against those two centre halves, but he had 3 quality chances, one-on-ones, and then he had a chance that obviously Coutinho hit the post, and then he has a rebound that puts wide. Now, we can criticise Gerrard, and I'm sure we will at some point, or you will certainly, but he can't put the ball in the back of the net for someone.
No, but he's also got a striker on the bench that has got a really good record of scoring goals in the Premier League. And he's got another striker on the bench. That's one of the hottest properties in British football from a young talent perspective. Who scored 4 in 4 for his country at under 21 level.
Under 21 level is not Premier League, mate.
No, it's not.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve potentially a chance, but under 21 level is not Premier League.
No, it's not. But that argument would be great if the people that were ahead of him in the team were scoring. And I'm not saying start him. I'm not going that far. But surely, when you're trying to break a team down, I mean, the young, quick finisher in your team, and there's a reason surely you've kept him from going out on loan.
He certainly couldn't have done any worse. I just think that it's so tricky because Watkins gives you so much in terms of like particularly away from home in terms of work rate, harrying defenders, hassling defenders, occupying centre halves that Danny Ings just wouldn't do. He just doesn't do that. So
yeah,
I agree. Danny Ings would have finished at least one of those chances, and that's what the conundrum is.
Okay, here's a question for you, right? And please tell me in the comments if you think I'm absolutely mad for saying this, right? But I would probably rather at the moment we play a 4 at the back, 4 in midfield, wherever that's going to be, and then Keenan Davis and either Archer or Ings up front.
I agree that Keenan Davis should not have been sent out on loan because he's the only different option that we've got in terms of physical profile up front, and we've lost that. We've lost it. So, and I think you'd get a better Coutinho and a better Buendia if you had that player that can hold the ball up and give the ball back to them. Because at the moment, it's kind of like we're forced to try and win second balls to then give the ball to Coutinho and Buendia. What we're not doing is getting that ball into the front man, him holding it up and setting up attacks. We're not getting that at the moment.
And I'm not saying, by the way, that I think Keenan Davis is the answer to the overall question. But again, as I say a lot of times in this pod, we're not the ones setting the narrative of the club. The club are the ones saying Europe is our ambition and 14th isn't good enough. And this stadium needs to be having European football. And we've got these big plans. We're not the ones saying that. The club are the ones saying that. So if that's the case, and you've got to look at the system and the team that you're putting out each week. Look, I'm not saying we would have got Tammy Abraham. He's probably going to go to a bigger team than us, but surely there's got to be a profile of a striker out there that can fit that. Because I just don't think the system works. It's not working consistently. We've historically been putting crosses in the box, and there's no one that can head it in the box. And actually, you touched on this about 5 minutes ago. Creating the chances. We did create the chances. Now anyone can have an off game. We've all been there. Every striker does, other than obviously Haaland. But every striker has an off game.
Was it 3 hat-tricks in 8 games, and the nearest one was Michael Owen with 48?
Yeah,
to get to 3 hat-tricks.
I saw a hilarious tweet today saying Haaland should be allowed to go to the World Cup, and every team can use him for 30 minutes once he's on, like a wild card, parachute him in. But look, you're going to get it happen sometimes. But the thing with Watkins is he's just got a track record of not being the best finisher. Look, again, I feel like Watkins, like I feel about McGinn. I feel the same as I do probably about Cash. I like him. I think he's done some fantastic performances for us. I think that season under Smith, I remember that, Arsenal away and the Liverpool at home game. And as we've discussed many times, he's a real handful he's played well actually against Man City and Liverpool a few times. But that's great. You're working hard. I just don't think he's a finisher. I think the amount of times he seems to hit the keeper when he has a shot. Even when there's a few times when he had the ball and he could have played a pass to someone, and it just feels like his touch is not there, and I don't know. I just don't. I get
the frustration. But then the argument comes back to, we keep saying, and I get it. Like I get it at the start of the season or pre-season, Perzo was coming out with all this shite about where we want to finish and all this, what our aims were. Gerrard kind of was saying the same, buying into it. I do think though, at some point, he can't turn around and say, "Oh well, we'll be lucky if we stay up." But I get that, but then we're then saying that our players are good enough to get more out of them. But then we're saying that at the same breath, we're saying Watkins, McGinn, and other players aren't good enough. So which one is it?
Well, look, if these players have never played top 10 Premier League before, and you've got ambitions to do it, then I think the club have got to show more ambition in the transfer market. And I'm still surprised. I remember we did the pod after we very early doors announced the Coutinho permanent signing, the signing of Carlos, the signing of Kamara, and I was definitely cock a hoop.
We were buzzing. Yeah. Now obviously two of them aren't playing.
Well, yeah, but we've known we've been crying out for another striker. We've been talked about it for ages. We know we've been crying out for another attacking player. We've talked about it for ages. You know, we've tried to get Ismaila Sarr. Are we saying that Ismaila Sarr is the only target that we had? I mean, is that the way it works as a Premier League club? If I
don't know.
You've got a target.
Then according to Craig Butler, we've got the best wide player in Europe in our side. So
yeah.
he didn't look like he could trap a bag of cement yesterday, to be fair.
Let's be clear about Bailey, right? He's clearly got moments of magic in him. But at the moment, I honestly think I'd rather Traore in the team than Bailey.
Mate, I really want him to succeed. I really do, but he's crap.
I would love him to.
He's got no strength. He's got no strength.
His touch is terrible.
He didn't show any pace. He had one moment where he put that cross in with his right foot, which was good. And then obviously Coutinho hit the post, and he had a shot with his right foot in the first half. But you can't give someone 70 minutes for two little moments. Like, you can't. The only thing he did was he did try and close down, and that's one of the things that I'm seeing over the last 3 or 4 games that we are actually doing. We are actually pressing as a team, and our shape and our kind of organisation is much better at the moment. But at the same time, I said on the last podcast, to have you give people that shape and that security for them to show what they can do, right? And people have been crying out for Bailey to have 3 or 4 games, let him get to his rhythm. How can you expect him to get to his rhythm when he's getting 15 minutes here and then he's not playing, then he starts? He's had 4 starts now, or 3 or 4 starts, and he's, if anything, he's getting worse every game he plays.
Yeah, I just think that you've got to do a Roy Walker catchphrase, say what you see. And what I see right now is a player that's clearly got a moment of magic in his boots. You know, great finish against Man City. You know, in the pre-season, he cut in against Man United and scored, and he nearly did it in another game. I can't remember what the game was we lost, so I think he didn't hit the bar or something, whatever. But it's fleeting moments, and fleeting moments is what Traore did for us. Fleeting moments is what El Ghazi did for us. I mean, El Ghazi.
They scored 9 goals or something in a season each, didn't they, or something? So at least those fleeting moments, like you said the other day, at least those fleeting moments actually contributed to goals scored, whereas Bailey's fleeting moments, it's a shot or it's a cross, or obviously he scored against Man City. There's no output to it.
I don't think we'd be any worse off as a team, right, if we had either El Ghazi or Traore on the wide as a wide player, and we had Dean Smith as manager. I don't think we'd be any worse off as a team. I don't think Bailey. I mean, Watkins certainly we've discussed, and we can discuss more, but he's not a good enough finisher for a team, I think, that has ambitions to finish where we want to fit. I mean, play him as a wide forward if you like his work rate. Play him like he used to play at Brentford. You know, you can be creative with systems to keep some, you know, to utilise his strength in the channels, and it can be a useful player. But if you're going to play a player, you need to play someone that can score goals. And it's not working. And it hasn't worked. And he has, I think one of the comments said it, you know, he's had spells of scoring goals. That season he got 14. Let's not forget he got 3 in one game. It was a bit of a freak game against Liverpool. And, you know, he went a lot of spells without scoring. Then he seemed to get 2 in the game. You know, he's consistently not scored goals. And Bailey consistently hasn't performed. The thing is, right now, we'll talk about the clamour for Buendia to come in. When Buendia seems to start, I don't think he seems to do much. But he was great when he came on. He was everywhere. He was like dog poo, wasn't he? He was everywhere. Like, you know, and I don't know. I just think it says it again. But, you know, you see the form he showed when he played. I think he's got to start the next game. I think away at Forest, you've got to start Wendy. I thought Coutinho was good again. I thought he actually was really bright. I just feel sorry for him. You know, I mean, Coutinho has never played in the team before, and he's got, no offense to him, but Ollie Watkins in front, trying to feed.
No, I agree. I think Buendia was excellent when he came on, and he definitely showed he deserved a start, and I think he will. I think Gerrard's given Bailey enough chances, enough rope to hang himself almost, and he's duly obliged. And Buendia now will I'm sure get the start. And now he's got to like take his chance now, because like you say, he's flattered to deceive when he started, and that's a slight issue for me. But and then you talk about, you know, you've got to have those options off the bench, you've got to have those substitutions to bring on, and he brought Buendia when Buendia had an impact. I think where we'll get onto people's comments in a second because there's so many, but I think we'll do Gerrard as maybe a separate chat, because yeah, I think there were good performances yesterday, and as I say, I think personally there are some shoots of recovery that are coming through in trends in the performances. But yeah, I think definitely Buendia deserves a start over Bailey next game, and it was encouraging to see Coutinho having that little bit more impact, and it was good to see us winning the ball like fairly high up the pitch. I know sometimes things didn't quite like fit together, but you know, McGinn was getting himself stuck in, and then playing the ball a little bit quicker into Coutinho's feet, where he had space to run onto. You know, Bailey would have had that if he. I don't understand why he doesn't make himself available. Like he stays out on that touchline, and you think if Watkins comes deep for the ball, then he should be making that diagonal run behind him because he's got the pace. I don't understand why he's not doing that. Now that's not coaching. That's just basic football. If someone goes out of a space, you attack, you go into that space. If you're a wide forward, you make diagonal runs. You don't make straight runs. You make diagonal runs, and then you get a straight pass, straight ball played into you. That just seems to me like basic football, and at the moment he just doesn't seem to be catching on. So yeah, definitely for me, Buendia should start next game.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and Bailey, whenever we ever seen his pace, we saw him in his first goal for us, didn't we? First game against Everton, you know, last season, and then he did his hamstring. But when have you seen him burn past a player? When have you seen him go outside a player and like, you know, just, you know, whip across him with pace? I've never seen it. He seems to be able to sort of do a little nifty sort of like cut back inside or step over and then whip it in with his left foot. But is that enough? I don't know. Just on that particular comment, by the way, because we just had a comment coming. I'm just going to pop it up here from Gary.
Sure.
Yeah, Gary, I agree. Traore, Trez, and Warren Davis are not. I never will be the answer. Can you imagine them four playing under Gerrard? We get hammered every week. That's not my point, though, mate. My point is I don't think we do any worse with them in the team. I'm not suggesting we should have them in the team. I think a team like Aston Villa should have a better version of a winger than Traore and Anwar. I thought they should have left the club. I just thought we'd get someone in. We tried to. Ismail Assar. We didn't get impact. That was our only option that we had across the whole of Europe with our scouting team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with Gary and I agree with you, Kev. It's like, you know, if we're talking about Watkins, McGinn, one or two others potentially not being good enough to take us into that next stage of where we hope or, you know, think we might be, then certainly Traore and Trezeguet and aren't gonna take us there either. So yeah, it is very frustrating.
Didn't we sell Jack Grealish for £100 million and get 20 million for Carney Chukwuemeka and 15 million for Matthew Target? So I mean, haven't we got a bit of cash? And I'll tell you another thing as well. Like if FFP was such a consideration, now I don't know the ins and outs, and someone might correct me on this, but surely you would have took the 25 million for Douglas Luiz. That was on the table. Surely you would have. If money was a consideration and you needed the money, and at the time he wasn't playing, he wasn't in the team. So I don't know. Like I'm just saying, like
I still think there was paperwork things there, or bit of brinkmanship with Dendoncker, Luiz. I think Sanson was due to go out, but the paperwork was done 15 minutes too late or something by the team that wanted to sign him. So there's lots of things that don't happen that I think will potentially happen in January. But I think Gerrard wants Luiz to stay. I've heard all rumours that he really wants him and he wants him to sign the contract. So,
but does Pochettino want him to stay? That's the key question, isn't
it? Right. Anyway, let's little question here, and then we'll get into the Gerrard chat because most of the comments are Gerrard chat. So. Really random review says, "Evening fellas, how's everyone doing? We are doing very well." Gaza has said, "Love playing Leeds, two proper old school clubs going at it." Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. To be fair, it was. Matt Smith,
other than Jesse Marsh's bitching.
Yeah, what was he on about?
Did he watch the game? I mean,
I know. How much were they time wasting in the second half?
Well, surely putting your foot in front of a free kick to stop it is time wasting. It's breaking up play. He's being like, bitty in your play. I mean, it's just, I don't know. He seems to, I quite liked him initially, but I don't know. He seems to have lost the plot with that comment. Anyway.
Maybe he thought that they should be beating a team like Villa and wasn't happy that they weren't. Yeah. So Matt Smith, Everton fan, I think it's Martin's friend. What it says, are you worried for Villa this season?
As in relegation, does he mean? I mean,
I think so, yeah.
I'm worried for Villa this season because I struggle to see how we're going to finish above 15th at the moment. At least in the top 12, 10. There's no chance we'll go down. I don't think that at all. I think that the one thing you can see with this season is there's a lot of crap teams in the league based on current form. So, yeah, I don't think that we'll go down. But, I mean, it's just insipid, isn't it? It's just insipid. Being a Villa fan and all the expectation that we would want to kick on. And last year wasn't what we thought it would be. With obviously the whole bad start, Dean Smith, brought in Gerrard, continuous improvements where we're at. And, yeah, look where we are now. I mean, I just think that most Villa fans have had the life sucked out of them. My lads' team got beat at the weekend. Good game, but they got beat. England is shit. And I support the Villa as well. I mean, my God.
Well, at least we didn't lose in the third kit, Kev. At least we didn't lose in the third kit.
Hey,
you gave us all those stats the other day.
Yeah, I wore the third kit tonight playing football. I got a hat-trick, so there is some life in it.
There we go.
There we
go.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of these comments. We got loads coming in, guys. So, Gaza, missed it with being home in Cyprus, lads. What are our thoughts? We're on it at the minute. Seeing reaction and backlash on Twitter for Gerrard out. So, yeah, I mean, from the stands, from my point of view, it was quite a fairly vociferous Steven Gerrard's Claret Barami chant going, and I know Max and Villa on tours kind of said, it was a pretty decent performance, and had we put one of those chances away, that would have been a professional away performance. Great that we go to Elland Road, tough place to go and get a clean sheet. Only the fact that we didn't score kind of clouds that view slightly.
Yeah,
what do you think on that?
I just think, with respect to them, but I think that's a bit of a deluded attitude. Because we're not talking about one game, are we? We're talking about a situation where Aston Villa this season have struggled massively to look like they could score a goal really against Bournemouth. They've struggled against Crystal Palace. They beat Everton, but it was a very slow, painful victory. West Ham, bottom of the league, didn't look like we were going to score. Arsenal, I mean, fluky corner got us in the game, but we should have been further behind than that. Southampton, again, I still don't know how we won that. Painful 1-0 win. City, fine, backs to the ball performance, but I just think the consistency. And then you go back to before the season, obviously the back end of last season. There was a stat, wasn't there? Someone mentioned it on the commentary of the Villa game. The last team we beat that are kind of like still in the Premier League was Leeds, and that Leeds away in, God, when was that? March. March. Only other teams who beat the Premier League since then have been relegated, obviously, other than Southampton.
Southampton. Yeah, so, I mean, the only other way of looking at it is 5 points from the last 3 games, and you would have said we'll get thrashed against Man City. Everyone was saying that, and we didn't. We beat Southampton. Obviously, it was a terrible game, but we beat them, and we get a clean sheet, and we draw 0-0 against Leeds. Granted, the game situation is slightly different, but you go to Elland Road, you get a point away from home. You've only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 games, and you've got a potential platform to build from.
Yeah, mate. It's I just think, like, as I talk about a lot on the podcast, like, I don't give the geezer at Marks and Spencer's who gives me a carrier bag when I ask for a carrier bag any credit, because I'll say thank you to him because that's his job. Like, Aston Villa's job as a Premier League team is to try and put in a reasonably hard-working performance against other Premier League teams. And that's surely the definition of what we should be doing. And yeah, we've stopped the rot a little bit in terms of some of the bad performances, but to what cost have we done that? I think a lot of teams could be pretty toothless in attack by tightening up at the back. I just don't know where the positivity is. Is the positivity we're taking now?
I guess the 4 main. Yeah, I agree. The 4 main areas in football are defensive, defense, attack is set pieces, defensive set pieces. So at the minute, 2 of those areas we're doing pretty well in. The other 2 areas we're doing woeful in. Yeah. So it's like, are we hopeful that there's going to be any change to that attacking output under the current management structure?
I don't know what positive signs have we got since Gerard's been here. I mean, we beat Southampton 4-0. What a great performance that was. Everything clicked that day. Ings and Watkins playing well together. Great away win at Leeds. I felt like at least when he first came, there was a bit of
great away win at Palace, beat Brighton.
Yeah. Brighton was hard. There was a bit of fight. I felt like that's what we'd have a bit of intensity as a team.
We're getting a bit of that now. We're getting a bit of fight now.
We are getting a bit of fight, but you can't beat Leeds with 10 men for half a game.
Look, I can't argue with that. And we should have won. Like, looking at the statistics here, you've got 19 shots for 7 on target, 57% possession, 479 passes, 77% accuracy. And I think 3 of those chances were big chances, classed as big chances. There's no real excuse for that. But at the same time, I can't pin that on the manager. I can't pin that on the manager.
But doesn't the manager pick the team?
I don't see Ings getting those chances. I don't see Ings doing the running to get those chances. That's the point. I don't think Ings is. I don't think Ings is any good. I think he's gone. His legs are gone. He's gone in the game.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever shown much more than, again, fleeting moments for us. But if you think that, and potentially the Villa fans think that, then what are Aston Villa doing as a football club when our attacking options are Ollie Watkins, who struggles to score goals?
I know. I know.
Danny Ings, who would maybe lose a bit of confidence in, and Cameron Archer, who doesn't want to play.
Yeah, he doesn't want. Yeah, he's not playing at the minute. Yeah.
Definition of insanity, isn't it?
Honestly, you just we're hoping that one goes in off Ollie Watkins' arse or something. But yeah, I think the general gist of people are with you, mate. So Gerrard has to go. He doesn't know how to link our banks. McGinn and Louise are played out of position. He just has to go. That's from John. He also says Watkins was off it, but he played 90 minutes. Gerrard didn't react to playing against 10 men. He is clueless. Our coaching staff is way too big. I do think the subs were a little bit late. And I think when you're playing against 10 men in that situation, I think to not use 5 subs and not bring Archer on, I have to give a little bit of criticism there. Like, I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what are you going to lose by putting another striker on and taking a defender off?
It's 10 men, or take a midfield, right? Whatever you need to do. I actually thought it was a bit odd. I don't think Konza was great at right back. So, would you have lost anything by, I don't know, playing
switching to 3 at the back,
a Ramsey there or something, or doing something with? I think we lost a lot of opportunities with quality going forward on the right hand side in the second half with Konza being there. Good, decent defender, but I think, could we have had a better system than that?
He was forced into it a little bit, wasn't he? Because I think Chambers was injured, so or ill. I don't think he was on the bench, so maybe Chambers would have come on at right back.
Yeah, maybe later on in the game,
Augustinson getting injured. Yeah, no, I definitely take your point. I'd actually thought Bednarek looked pretty good when he came on.
I thought Augustinson did well. Actually,
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
So that they were 2 positives. I also thought in that game, you're crying out from a physicality perspective, like Dendoncker. would have, bit of
Maybe.
size. Stick him up top. No, sorry.
Mate, if that wouldn't have worked and he'd done that, I dread to think what you'd have been saying on, on the chat on WhatsApp.
No.
We've now resorted to throwing Dendonker on up front. Yeah, that would have gone down well. Gary, defense was okay, but everyone else looked way off it. Don't even blame the players anymore. So yeah, we know with Gerrard there, it was better, wasn't it? And got to take the clean sheet as a plus. It's the attack that seems the issue now. I think I'm reasonably positive after thinking. I was reasonably positive live at the game. I could see some of the things that they were trying to do. I could see the tempo was lifted. I just think you don't beat 10 men, and we've never been good at that. We were talking about it on the way home. We've never been good at beating 10 men. I remember in our season when we went up, Arsenal had 10 men, and we ended up getting beat in the last minute 3-2. Aubameyang curled in a free kick.
Yeah,
and then Burnley, I think we struggled to break down Burnley when they had 10 men.
But things changed. Like we should be. We're a Premier League.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying we've never ever been any good at it, and I don't know why we can't do it.
Question for you, Richard. Right, we're taking positives out of a backs to the wall performance against Man City. We get a win against Southampton, and they were bad, weren't they? Southampton, let's be clear. The win against Everton were bad when we played them. And then, of course, we get a 0-0 against Leeds. Oh, we didn't lose. We're playing a team that nearly went down, that have certainly got a bit of fight in heart, but we're down to 10 men with pretty much half the game. And we didn't really look like scoring, did we? And this is my question. We talk about all these positives about the fight and, hey, at least we didn't lose and defence is getting better. If you'd have said to any team this season, your start is going to be Bournemouth, Everton, Crystal Palace, West Ham, when they were bottom of the league. Fine, admittedly, you're playing Arsenal. Man City, Southampton, Leeds, you would have said, please give me that start to the season. You just would have. And what are we on? Nothing, basically. And I don't know whether the positives are. Yeah. It's the positives that we look a bit sturdy at the back. Whoop-de-doo.
I get you. How many points would you be expecting out of those 8 games?
Well, I'll be expecting to beat a bottom of the table West Ham at home at Villa Park, packed house. I'll be expecting to beat Bournemouth, a newly promoted team. I just would be. There's 2. Palace.
And you'd say lose against Man City.
I'd say lose against Man City. So I know what you're going to say here. Well, you've got a bit extra point there. Look, Palace, you could lose.
No. Seriously though, I'm saying. Yeah. So you're saying probably an extra 5 points. Yeah, you've got to lose one of them games. You're not going to win all 3 of them games. Bournemouth, Palace, West Ham. You're just not.
No, you're not. 3 to 5 points. But again, that's one of my issues. The issue is are we sat here saying, Jesus, lads, unlucky, ain't we? What a performance that was against Bournemouth. They nicked it last minute. Difficult place to go, toe-to-toe. Oh, West Ham, we battered them. How did they get that goal at the end? We've all seen those kind of games. You have all the play. We didn't look like scoring a goal in the game. And, this bottom of the league. And the ominous signs are now is that we've got Forest up next, and they've been battered tonight by Leicester. So,
we beat Forest. We beat Forest. 100%. 100% beat Forest. We play anything like we did yesterday, we beat Forest. No doubt.
I think a lot of fans. I would never say I hope we don't beat Forest till we get a managerial change. That would never be something I would say, but I'm sure a lot of fans would take that. But then
you beat Forest at 8 points in the last 4 games.
Yeah, but
that's decent form. That's 2 points per game.
Come on.
Look, I'm just saying, like, there's teams that would have taken 5 points in the last 3 games are 100%. 100%. John says, name one player who was improved under Gerrard. Only Mings, in his opinion.
Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah.
Jacob Ramsey, but he wasn't really playing much of the Smith, so I don't know if Smith can have that. And I actually think Mings was decent in the Smith. They just had a bit of a bad spell. But generally, I think Mings was all right for Smith, so...
Yeah, Martinez has been fairly consistent, hasn't he? So he hasn't really changed. Cash has been pretty decent for both.
I think Cash has dropped off. massively. I personally think Cash's form's not been great. I don't think Digne's been disappointing. McGinn's dropped off a cliff. I think Cons is not as good as he was. Watkins,
I do think Cons is him and Mings are getting back to that, starting to get back to that partnership. But yeah, I don't think anyone's really improved. But again, I we're talking about professional footballers here. We're not talking about people who've got no capabilities over their own performance. So how much culpability do the players need to take as well?
Well, they do, but at the end of the day, they're not the ones picking the team, and they're not the ones buying the players. And again, don't come out. Don't be that person. I'm going to run the London Marathon next year. How do you get on with the London Marathon? I didn't do it. Well, that's a bit of a fucking stupid thing to say, wasn't it? Are we going to finish in European positions? We've got real ambitions. Just give me a couple of transfer windows and a pre-season. Just watch what we do. What is our identity? Tell me what Aston Villa do. We put tackles in and we work hard and we're fairly solid in defence. What's our style of play? Is it wingers? Is it inverted forwards? Is it what is it? Is it double pivot? What's our style of play?
I don't know, mate. I've not known what our style of play is for 5 years though. So,
you kind of knew with Tammy Abraham, play it into him, play around him, give it to Jack.
That was our style of play under Dean Smith. Give it to Jack. That was our style of play. That was it. That was it. That was it. There's no. We didn't have a midfield. We never had a midfield because it was always empty, and we just used to get 1-0 up and then just try and hold on to the 1-0 lead and give the ball to Jack. That was literally our style.
Do you know what it is at the moment? It's boring and it's clueless.
I'm not I'm not defending the style of how we're playing, but I can kind of understand it from a managerial point of view. I can kind of understand why we're doing it.
Yeah.
I just want to see. I just want to see some. I want to see a 2-0 win or a 3-1 win or something just to get that. Just to kind of justify why we're doing that, why we've gone back to kind of real basic football, why we've gone back to that. Because if you don't see that, then look at Tottenham the other day where they've been winning games by playing shite and catching teams on the break, and then they come unstuck against Arsenal. Everyone's like, well, does Conte have to change his style again? Because if you win ugly, when you start losing ugly, it doesn't look good in anyone's any way, shape, or form.
No, it doesn't. But we're just toothless, aren't we? I think it's great that we've got a bit more solid in the defence. I think it's really good. I think it's good that Martinez has been a bit more consistent because I think he's been a bit shaky earlier in the season. But we don't. It's not that we're not scoring goals. We don't look like we're going to score goals. I mean, Coutinho nearly scored an absolutely brilliant goal. To be fair to him, that was great, flying volley. But anyone can miss a rebound. It happens to all of us. But I just don't think we look like scoring. I mean, the amount of games, particularly early in the season, where we're just putting aimless crosses into the box. Even in pre-season, we didn't really look like scoring goals.
No. Yeah.
Writing's been on the wall. They've had long enough to do something about it. That's my massive issue for me. They do something about it.
Mm-hmm. I agree, mate. I agree. We've agreed quite a lot on this podcast, to be fair, which is not too bad. AJ, not good enough. Enough is enough. Wally Watkins should never be leading our line. And he shouldn't start for any serious top half club. Watkins can't be the lone front man anymore. We will never score if he is, from Gary. Really random reviews. I expect Archer to get a few minutes very soon, or we should start chanting his name from the stands. Gaz V, a Leeds fan. Thanks for tuning in, mate. I'm a Leeds fan. That game was rubbish. Ref was terrible. Normally this fixture is a good watch. What did you think of Leeds? I know they were down to 10 men for most of the half, but I know you were kind of sort of quite impressed with the way that they'd started the season, had some exciting young players, play like a fast brand of football. What were your thoughts on them?
I wasn't overly impressed with them against us, but I don't mind Leeds. I think he's brought some good players in. I think Is it Aronson? Is it Christensen? Sincero is a really good player. Adam seems decent. I think they've got some good players, and but I think we should be beating them comfortably. Maybe not away from home, certainly Villa Park. But hey, my God, they've had a man sent off after half the game. Let's do this. And let's be clear, if that is, let's forget the top tier teams. But if that is a chase, if that's Fulham, I think they win that game. If that's Brentford, I think they win that game. If that's Brighton, I think they win that game. I think the pressure tells. I mean, we didn't look like scoring. Again, it's our problem. So how long do you go on with this? How long do you keep saying, and look, fine, maybe you'll beat Forest. Because although look at the pressure that's on that game there, big pressure. If Steve Cooper, I wonder if he'll still be in the job, but we've got a lot of players that are out of form, and the thing is there are options. Whether they've impressed in training or not is a question, but I don't know. Morgan Sanson does he? He's quite a dynamic midfield player. Would he be an option? Cameron Archer is a finisher. Would he be an option? I don't know. I'm not suggesting these are the answers, but at the moment, we're not getting the answers that we want. So why not try something different?
Yeah. Obviously, Gerrard himself wasn't happy with the missed chances. I know we saw him kick the water bottle or something like that, throw a water bottle down on the floor, and he was quite prickly in his press conference and his answers to Ashley Preece as well. Yeah, I mean, he obviously wants it. He obviously wants to get the victories. Yeah,
of course he does. Yeah, he's a proud guy. He's got obviously unbelievable track record in football in the Premier League. He did a decent job at Rangers, but I don't know what he's trying to do at Aston Villa. And yeah, he's not the one taking the shots, putting the ball in the net, but I'm sure he plays a big part in deciding. Actually, let's look at our front players for the season. Do we have enough in those attacking areas? You've got a whole summer transfer window to go with it, and we didn't bring anybody in. We brought in a defensive midfielder who's now injured, a centre half who's now injured, a cover left back, Coutinho on a perm, but we basically already had him, so I'm not counting that. Who else did we buy? Den Donker, obviously, and
Bednarek, yeah.
So with the issues, we've known the issues have been in the attacking part of the team for a long time, and we clearly tried to change it. As I said a couple of times now, we tried to sign Sarr, but it didn't happen. So I don't know if you say now we're not looking like we're going to score goals, but we bloody well knew that previously. So do something about it. And now, why let Kieran Davies go?
Well, you had the opportunity I heard through the grapevine to speak to the man who's apparently in charge of our transfer policy, Mr. Johan Lange.
I bumped into Johan.
Did you put any of those questions to him when you had his ear for 5 minutes?
It wasn't the time or place really at kids football. Johan, another thing, but I was thinking he looks a bit like Johan Lange. It sounds a bit Scandinavian. Then he put a Villa jacket on with JL on, and I was like, that's Johan Lange. So I had a little chat with him about kids football, and the plan for the club basically is kind of what we all know, but a big push on youth into Spurs with obviously some solid pros. He made the point to me that Southampton wouldn't have been able to buy Ward-Prowse, Declan Rice, same with West Ham, Villa with Jacob Ramsey and Jack Grealish. So it's really important you bring your youth through. But again, we've said it a few times, but Kessler Hayden, Tim Rogenham, Cameron Archer. These are players that are youthful that look decent. Could they be doing better than what we've got right now? Yeah, maybe not ready, but
I actually think Kessler Hayden will probably come back in January because he's not getting in at Huddersfield. They've just changed their manager. I think we'll probably recall him. But yeah, we'll see. Ollie's had 3 seasons to do it, and the best spell he had was a single run of goals in the first season. He's not scoring enough for me. Needs a solution. AJ, give Watkins a run out wide where he should be playing his trade. I think you mentioned that as well, mate. Oradika football, more garbage yesterday. There we go. Need to splash the cash, but don't trust Gerrard anymore. From Gary Howlett. AJ Bailey was better when he was injured.
Yeah.
Do you know what as well? I know you never want players to get injured, but sometimes it's less of a headache for a manager, isn't it? When you haven't got those choices. and it could be Bailey's electric in training, like you say. It could be he's absolutely flying in training. I remember that used to be the that was used to be the criticism of El Ghazi, wasn't it? Who was amazing in training apparently, and then just sometimes froze in a match situation.
Yeah, it's just not working, is it? It's boring. I'm just bored. I'm bored now. I'm bored of this podcast. Bored of you. Bored of me. Bored. Not bored of the comments. Keep them coming and keep subscribing. Thanks. But it's just shit, isn't it? Like,
I'm going to mute you.
Yeah, it's just shit. Like, we just don't look like scoring goals. What's the point of football? I'm trying to get my lad. I mean, he's into the Villa. My little girl. I'm trying to get her into it. Like, she sits there. Daddy wants to bring her iPad to the football now. I don't blame you. I'll watch a bit of a Peppa Pig and bloody whatever. Shark Dog. She's watching at the moment. I think Shark Dog on the iPad would be better than watching Aston Villa. And
short-termism, Kev. Short-termism. The 2022 football fan. Here we are.
It's not short-termism, is it? It's not. It's this is long-term. This is this year. Haven't we won 8 games out of 28 this year?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you defend that stat?
Are you this guy? Are you Radika football? Is that you? Things simply are not working as they are, and we are underperforming horribly. That sounds like you.
That's my other Google account. Have you seen the fixtures as well? Forest is an absolute must-win. Then we've got Chelsea. Then we've got Fulham away. That'll be easy. Then we've got Brentford. Yeah, that'll be easy. Then we've got Newcastle away. Then we've got Man United.
How many games is that? 5 games, is that 6? 18 points. 18 points. There we go. You won't be saying that after Newcastle. We'll be in top 4, mate. El Sakiko between 2 European winners next match. How the mighty have fallen. How can we watch such a good squad but such performances every week? Do we have such a good squad though? Because we've been criticising the players, saying that they're not good enough to finish top 10. So have we got a good squad?
Yeah, well, here's a question on that. Are some of our players in that good squad, are they good players on past performances? Is Ings the player that he was? Is Coutinho the player that he was? Is Digne the player that he was? It's he's in terms of previous form, Cash, Watkins, Gonza, the players that they've previously been, John McGinn. So, I think we've got a talented squad, but that's also the question with any manager is utilising your squad in the best position. I think Buendia's got to play. I know we've said it when he starts. Sometimes he doesn't do much, but I think you've almost got to give Buendia and get Buendia and Coutinho in the team, and I think you'll create chances. Get Buendia and Coutinho in the team with Cameron Archer, and I think you'll score goals. I think you'll create chances. You'll score goals as long as they've got solidity behind them. And we've got the players in Nakamba, Dendoncker, Louise. You've got the players, Kamara when he's back, to give solidity.
I think Buendia, Coutinho, and Archer's is too easy to play against. Not physical enough.
I'm not saying that's necessarily the 3, but I'm saying could you get one of them in midfield, one of them wide?
Yeah.
And again,
John said we've been better when. Yeah.
Right for half an hour.
Yeah. I 100%. I think he should have came on yesterday. There's no doubt about it. We've been better when Coutinho and Buendia played together. I think it's only been twice that both of them started together. I'll give Gerard a lift to the job centre. Yeah, I think Buendia and Coutinho will start next game. He can't not start Coutinho now, but I do understand why he's given Bailey a shot. People were crying out for him. They
were, and we all thought Bailey. We've been sold the dream of Bailey. We've been sold the dream by the YouTube videos, by the Leverkusen skills that we've seen on YouTube, by Craig Butler, his agent, and his dad saying he's the best player in the world. Better than Haaland, isn't he, Bailey? And yet we haven't seen it. He's got 2 goals, I think, in like 26 games for us.
Yeah. I mean, not good, Aaron's back.
Come on, Aaron.
He's a fraud. He told us he couldn't even set the taxis to run a bath. He'd use cold water and fairy liquid.
Voice of reason, Aaron is.
FM Rage, hi everyone. Jack, hello from Canada. Thanks for tuning in. We've had some fantastic comments. And please, if you're watching, give us a like and give us a subscribe if you haven't already. It'll be fantastic to get to up to that 400 mark. We're not far off, mate. I think we're 38 off. So not many at all to get there. Just to finish off, then, obviously we're going to do a Forest preview on probably on Sunday. I think we'll do that. But
do we have to? Do we have to do that? Do we have
you'll
to?
You'll be positive soon. You'll be positive when the game comes up. You go into the bloody game, mate. You
Come
gotta
on.
be a bit more positive.
No. I'm half joking, to be fair.
Oh, Terry's in Miami. Thanks for tuning in, mate. It's fantastic.
Listen, Jack, Terry, great to have you on here from North America. Maybe the times of the game haven't been too bad for them, like late morning, but I tell you what I feel sorry for. Any Australian Villa fans getting up in the early hours in the morning to watch that shite.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, is it we've touched on that where it's a must win and all that sort of stuff. We don't know what's going to happen with Cooper at Forest, but yeah, we've got to be getting a win. We've got to be getting a win, haven't we?
If ever a team in a bit of bad form, gone to the bottom of the league, manager under pressure, a lot of players, trying to get him into a system. What team would you like to play to try and get yourself out of that little rut?
That's just negative, Kev, again. Keep doing that. Why do we always do that as Villa fans? Let's just go in the game and win the game. Like, we don't have to be like Terry's ex-Villa player. Fantastic. And we don't have to be so negative. We're gonna win.
Yeah,
if we play any, we'll win. 100%. 100% we win. We win that game.
Yeah, we probably are, aren't we? But Terry wouldn't have put up with that. I'll tell you that.
So, last question for you, mate. Last question. I know you want to get off this podcast.
No, I'm all right. Let's do it. Let's
You've had enough.
Let's keep talking about all the positives of the defense and not considering.
No. So I think we've gone there, mate. I think, like I say, it's good to see Mings back to his best, and it's good to see Konsa getting better. Although he did miss a great chance yesterday. And Ashley Young's playing well. It's and he has got difficulties with that defensive line. Martinez is back playing well, but what would it take for you to give Gerrard that little bit more time?
For me to be in a coma.
So that's it for you. You're done.
Yeah,
so we beat Forest. You get a decent result against Chelsea.
Well, if you beat Forest and you beat Chelsea and you keep winning games, and I tell you what it takes for me, for us to go out, show the same heart and desire, and look like we're going to score goals and have chances, but good chances, and take some of the chances. Like, I would never be so terrible to think that that you can never change it. But all of the signs for me are that let's be clear. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We've been, for the whole of 2022, poor. We know we've had a couple of wins, but really, we've won 8 out of 28. I think it's like 3 in, I don't know what the stat is, but it's horrendous. Our record's horrendous. Back end of last year, we were terrible. So we've got to be clear. This is based on a number of factors. In any scenario, if you were to tell a partner, tell your kids, tell your colleagues, employees, whatever, that you were going to do something and you were going to do it and you did the opposite, but you've been promising you were going to do it and you've not been doing it for a year, at some point they're going to think you're a bit of a knob. And I'm not saying Gerrard's doing it on purpose, but the club have responsibility for the players they brought in. And I think Gerrard's, his approach has been wrong in terms of how he's alienating people. I don't think he needed to do what he did. I don't think it worked for him to do what he did, and he asserted his authority and it's backfired. I think the pressure on McGinn as captain has backfired. The whole situation with Mings, I think some decisions to let some people out on loan.
Is Mings not playing better now?
Mings is, look, if we're going to talk about positives, I think the fullbacks have been decent. I think Young's been great since he's come into the team. I can't fault him at all. Augustinson looked good. I think that Dendoncker and Bednarek did well, and Bednarek did well. Dendoncker, we didn't see much of in that little cameo end of the week. I think Mings has been excellent. I can't fault Mings at all. I think he's been sturdy, solid. I think he's been the rock of our team, and absolute credit to him for coming back from that. I think the team is. There's actually quite a lot of positives. There is. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. We just don't look like we're going to score goals. That's probably the problem.
Okay, so can't give Gerrard any credit for Mings playing well, or Coutinho playing well, or Martinez looking more solid. But it's all his fault that we're not scoring.
Slightly weird argument, that, Richard. Yeah, but look, he's the one that in any football team, if it's not working offensively, you've got to make changes to fix it.
I understand that when the team wins, it's the players get the credit, and when the team loses, the manager gets the blame. Of course, that's the way it works.
But when did he make his subs? Yeah, he's got a hot prospect striker on the bench. He's giving him no minutes again. I just look. He could have brought Archer on for the last 15 minutes, and he could have done nothing. But I don't know. I just think like Archer in a one-on-one, I fancy him to tuck something away. And he's Archer track record better than Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins has played for England. He scored a couple of goals for England. He scored 14 goals in the Premier League. He scored probably 25, 30 goals in the Premier League. He's got a much better pedigree and track record. I'm not suggesting replace Watkins with Archer, but give him some minutes. Try something else out.
No, I don't disagree with you there. I just think that the hyperbole around like Gerrard's to blame for everything, but then he can't take any. You can't give him any. We can't, not you, but as a collective, we can't give him any credit for any of these players starting to play well. Is a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, but they're playing. I mean, look, the issue with Gerrard for me, and I think for a lot of Villa fans, and I know Sam certainly thinks it obviously on our pod, is that I can't see where we've progressed. I can't see the continuous improvement. I can't see what the identity is with the style of football. I don't know what we are. I don't know what we stand for. I don't think we're anything other than a team now that have got a little bit of metal, which is great. But again, you'd hope and expect that Premier League footballers would have that. A lot of them are playing to get themselves in the World Cup squads for the nation. So you'd hope that they're going to do that. But
so they're not playing for the manager in any way, shape, or form.
I actually think from all reports that I've read that it feels like a lot of them are playing for the manager. But what? Like, it's not working, is it?
One goal conceded in the last 3 games, 5 points from the last 3.
We've scored 6 goals in 8 Premier League games. Touche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, only
Wolves have scored 3.
Yeah, well, they've sacked the manager, so that's a
yeah.
Scored 6. West Ham have scored 5. Bournemouth Villa scored 6. Bournemouth, they got 33.33 recurring percent of their goals against Aston Villa.
So they did. They did,
yeah. Palace.
Okay, so we know where you stand, mate. We know where you stand. Basically, it's going to have to be 18 points in the next 6 games, and you'll turn around to Gerrard in.
It's not. I've said it before. If even in some of the performances where we've not won games, I'm not crazy to think you're going to win every game. I just want us to look like we can win games. And at the moment, we just look like we maybe won't lose games. But is that enough? That for me is a team that want to stay up in the Premier League type of performance. That for me is a team that want to finish maybe, between 17th and 14th, 17th and 12th. That's not a team who have got aspirations to push for Europe after 8 games. Now, he makes the argument that we needed to stop the rot. Maybe we tried to push it too much too early. You bought the players, you coach the players. That's the issue for me. And at what point do you change it? Wolves have changed it because it wasn't working. Middlesbrough have just changed it with Chris Wilder because it wasn't working. You cannot defend our form in 2022. You cannot defend our form this season. You cannot defend our attacking play and the chances of us looking like we're scoring goals. We should have brought more players in from an attacking perspective. We should be giving other players chances that are in the squad, and you should have let some of the players go out on loan. And that's what pisses me off.
That's a good place to end it, mate. I think that's all fair enough. I just think that we went showing signs of recovery that we can turn it around, but we'll see. And I think he'll get to the international break. Yeah, I think he'll get to the international break, and if then it's not improved in any way, shape, or form, either by results or performances or both, I think it'll be time to say bye.
I don't want to be this guy. I really was buzzing when we got Gerrard, young, dynamic manager. I felt we got a bit stale under Smith. Still hurts me, I see pictures of Smith and Grealish, Villa fans holding the playoff trophy, thinking, what after the win against Liverpool, that none of us could bloody go to because of obviously COVID. But and I see that, and I accepted that there's probably time for a change. And this guy that had done wonders at the Rangers and took him to be this, to success again, doing well in Europe, and I wanted him, and I thought his track record, he was a winner. I remember thinking he's a winner. We won't take any rubbish. But man, I'd love nothing more than for us to start putting performances in and people to start fearing Aston Villa. But I don't see any signs of life. And we've been working on this body now for the best part of 12 months, haven't we? And there's still no signs. I don't know what it is. So I don't want to be having these negative conversations. I don't want to have my weekend ruined. I'm sure everyone else feels the same. But I'd like some signs. There's times when you play and you think, you know what, we were unlucky there. I don't know how often do I think I think the opposite. I think we've been lucky to beat Southampton and Everton, rather than thinking we've been unlucky to lose some of the games. The games we lost, we bloody should have lost potentially by more. And the games we've won, we were lucky to win. Peace out.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we'll get a positive match preview for the Forest game this week, and then we get a great result next Monday night against Forest. But yeah, I think that's it. Kev, thank you so much for jumping on, mate. Thanks for everyone's comments. It's been a really good show, really good comments coming in, and yeah, it's all good to debate. We all love Villa at the end of the day, and we want the best for Villa, and that's it. I do think he'll have to the international break, and let's hope for some signs of recovery. Let's hope for some confidence. Ollie Watkins puts a couple of chances away. When Deere starts and starts pulling the strings, we've got the players there. Let's just hope that they can do it. But as always, Kev, thanks so much. And for everyone else, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and always remember, we'll follow the Villa.
Cheers, everyone.